Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a really fascinating, character-driven moral story that perfectly captures the whole messy web of human motivation, family dynamics, and the intense, blinding allure of sudden wealth. It's a classic fable for sure, but the psychological layers we're going to see here are incredibly relevant to anyone who has ever had to navigate family expectations, financial ambition, or caring for aging parents.
So let me ask you a kind of heavy question to start us off. Is the greed for wealth greater than our closest relationships? I really want you to keep this in the back of your mind as we walk through today's story. We are going to take a deep dive into the consequences of neglect, and we'll see exactly how the prospect of unearned riches can completely distort a person's moral compass, testing the very bonds that are supposed to be unconditional.
Part 1. A small family.
Okay, so in a quiet village named Rampur, we meet our core cast living under one roof. But, spoiler alert, it is far from a happy home. At the center of this household is the aging mother, Shanti Devi. She lives with her adult son, Vijay, and his wife, Pooja. Now, as Shanti Devi gets older and frailer, she relies on them for daily care, but instead of love, she faces shocking neglect. Early in our story, Shanti literally just asks for a hot cup of tea. Her daughter-in-law actually complains it's going to use up too many tea leaves, and Vijay just walks out rather than defending his own mother. It's a glaring, heartbreaking display of cruelty. And what makes it worse is the stark contrast in how Vijay treats the two older women in his life. See, while his dependent mother, Shanti, is viewed as this frustrating burden, we have Vijay's aunt, Sharda. Sharda is highly successful. She lives independently out in the forest and holds vast land and money. Vijay just showers Sharda with attention, respect, and unprompted visits. Why? Because he looks at his mother as a liability, but his wealthy aunt as an opportunity.
This whole toxic dynamic gets supercharged by a villager named Arjun. He runs into Vijay and reminds him of how incredibly lucky he is, pointing out that Aunt Sharda is unmarried, alone, and getting older. Arjun plants a highly toxic seed right here. He tells Vijay that the entire village just assumes Vijay is naturally going to inherit all of this wealth effortlessly without having to lift a single finger. This casual little conversation fundamentally shifts Vijay's perspective. It totally feeds his sense of entitlement and turns this vague hope into a burning, greedy expectation.
Part 2. Greed for Mausi's wealth.
Propelled by this growing greed, Vijay makes a calculated trip out to the forest to visit his aunt. But he isn't there out of genuine concern for her well-being, of course not. He wants to subtly probe about her inheritance plans and figure out how to lock down his financial future without doing any actual work. But Sharda? She is no fool, and she sees right through his vague questions. When Vijay cautiously asks about her properties, she immediately sets a firm boundary. She tells him directly that she plans to live for many more years, and more importantly, she built her wealth with her own blood and sweat. She is fiercely protective of her self-made independence and makes it crystal clear she won't just hand over the keys to her kingdom simply because they're related. Well, this completely frustrates Vijay, who is totally banking on an easy handout.
Part 3. Vijay and Pooja's plan.
Faced with this firm rejection from his aunt, Vijay and his wife Pooja devise a twisted, manipulative scheme to force Sharda's hand. In their greedy minds, the logic was simple, yet deeply cruel. Step 1. They actively decide to purposely mistreat Vijay's mother, Shanti, starting with denying her basic comforts, like we saw with her morning tea or decent meals. Step 2. They calculate that this neglect is going to frustrate and sadden Shanti so much that she'll pack up and leave to seek refuge with her sister, Sharda, in the forest. Step 3. The ultimate payoff. They assume that once Sharda sees Vijay's mother living with her, essentially cast out by her own son, Sharda will be forced to officially name Vijay as the heir to her property, hoping the bribe of sudden wealth will make him behave better and take his mother back. I mean, it's a completely twisted psychological game, right?
What absolutely blows my mind here is the rapid escalation of this family's deterioration. It's an entire collapse of morality over the course of a single day. In the morning, they execute step 1, denying Shanti her tea, which immediately prompts her heartbreaking decision to leave her son's home. In the afternoon, Vijay makes his visit to Sharda to ask about the inheritance and gets shut down. And by nightfall, Vijay and Pooja are sitting comfortably at home, openly discussing their brilliant greedy scheme, completely unaware that their entire house of cards is about to come crashing down.
Part 4. Sharda Mausi's decision. Troubled by the day's bizarre events, Sharda and Shanti decide to walk back to Vijay's house that very night.
Sharda just cannot fathom why her nephew would suddenly treat his mother so poorly, so she insists on confronting him face to face. But before walking in, they stand quietly outside the door. And through that door, they hear absolutely everything. They hear Vijay and Pooja openly bragging about their manipulative scheme to secure the land. Standing there, Sharda has this devastating realization. The tragic irony of all this? She always intended for Vijay to be her sole heir. She never planned to give her life's work to anyone else. She actually viewed him not just as a nephew, but as her own son. But in that exact moment, she realizes his recent displays of love, his respect, and his visits were entirely manufactured. His sudden disrespect toward his own aging mother was nothing more than a calculated, theatrical ploy just to extort Sharda for her land.
Part 5. The End of Greed and Learning the Lesson.
So Sharda has heard enough, and she takes immediate action. She pushes right through the door, catching Vijay and Pooja completely off guard in the middle of their greedy little celebration. The confrontation is immediate and powerful. Sharda methodically dismantles their deceitful plan right to their faces, expressing her profound disappointment that Vijay would trade his mother's dignity for a shortcut to wealth. And then, she delivers the ultimate lesson to her nephew. She tells him, "If you get everything so easily right now, you will stop working hard and just live a life of comfort. Life must be built on hard work." She reveals that the only reason she hadn't handed over the legal rights to him yet was to protect him. She wanted to protect him from becoming lazy, entitled, and entirely dependent. She was just waiting for the right time, hoping he would forge his own strong character first.
In the source text, this lesson is deeply rooted in the concept of parishram, which translates to hard work. But it's so much more than just physical labor. It's about exerting the necessary effort to build your own life and your own success. It's the deep understanding that relying on inherited wealth or using manipulative shortcuts to bypass the struggle completely hollows out your character. Earned success is what holds true value, because the journey of earning it teaches you resilience, humility, and gratitude. These are essential human traits that Vijay had entirely lost sight of.
Confronted with the ugly truth of his own actions and the profound, loving wisdom of his aunt, the illusion finally breaks. Vijay feels a wave of deep, genuine remorse. He apologizes for his greed, suddenly realizing how incredibly close he came to permanently destroying his family for money he was going to receive eventually anyway. Pooja, too, realizes her massive mistake in enabling the whole plot. Graciously, Sharda reassures them. The wealth is theirs, but on one strict condition. They must never stop working hard for themselves. With a newly aligned moral compass, the family restores their fractured relationship, committing to living happily, honestly, and most importantly, together. We started this explainer by asking if the greed for wealth is greater than our closest relationships. Vijay's scheme almost proved that it was, showing us exactly how quickly money can poison our priorities. But as we wrap up, I want to leave you with a final, provocative thought to reflect on regarding your own life and your own family dynamics. What is truly more valuable to you? Is it the fleeting, easy comfort of inherited wealth? Or is it the enduring, unshakable character built through your very own hard work? Take a moment to think about that and keep striving to build your own authentic success. Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer, and I'll catch you next time.